Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Questbound Reader. Guys, I'm very excited today. I know it's been a while since my last read, and I'm going to explain to you why. So, full disclosure, I started reading The Grace of Kings, and I was very excited to start reading this book. And I read about 25% of it, and I was like, man, I'm not feeling it right now. So I didn't want to DNF it because I liked the story so far, but I just didn't want to continue with it at the moment. I felt like I was getting stuck. That aside, mixed with my personal life, it was kind of, I don't know, it was a little too much, and I needed something easier, something that would make me want to read to get me out of this little slump that I was in. So I started reading this series that I'm sure most of you have never heard of, and that's called Awaken Online. Book one is called Catharsis, and this is by Travis Bagwell. This is my favorite style of fantasy book, which is progression fantasy. And man, oh man, do I absolutely love every single thing about, well, 95% of everything that has to do with this book. So, I'm going to explain to you what it's about. Many of you have probably watched, if you watch anime, watched Sword Art Online, the first season, which is the only one that's actually decent. Think of that in a rated M version. If you read manhwa or manga, think of this as a solo leveling esque kind of book. And man, where has this been all my life? This series has like 9 or 10 books out already, or 8 or 9 books, and they are short. They're like 3 to 5, 600 pages each. Great books. This first one was a 5 out of 5. And let me tell you what it's about. So, the main character, his name is Jason. Jason is bullied at school for not being as rich as the other students, and um, at the same time, this is in the future, in the year like 2076, if I'm not mistaken. A new virtual reality game called Awaken Online is released, and this game it was created by an AI software um, that was made by some scientists, and the AI is, I don't want to say sentient, but yes, kind of sentient, and kind of develops this game, overriding his secondary directives so that he's able to understand humans better and create a much better, more fluid game. His primary directive was to create a game that players wanted to come back and keep playing. Now, this AI is a very interesting part of the game because as he's tampering with his directives, he so the game clocks you out at how long you can play. And in game, which there's like a time compression for like 1 hour is like 3 times or 4 times. 1 hour in real world is like 3 or 4 hours, or maybe a little bit longer in game. And there's that time compression element. So after like 5 or 6 hours of real world time, you get a warning, and it tells you, hey, if you don't leave now, we're gonna kick you out of the game because you need to attend to your real like life body. But the AI finds a way to interact with the person's brain on a chemical level, and is able to um, pretty much give the people that are wearing these virtual reality helmets like a workout. So by contracting and releasing their parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems, very fancy, like technical and anatomical stuff. Pretty much, people are feeling better physically and emotionally from playing this game. Now, Jason enters the game really pissed off from some bullying that's been going on in school, and he's a senior. He's last year of high school, and he is presented with a quest as his start of the game. And everybody's warning, right? Everybody's experience in the game is vastly different. There's many different magical paths, fighting paths, affinities to like darkness, light, fire, water, earth, air, things like that. And how you react to certain events changes the world around you and influences NPCs around you as well. NPCs are non-player characters. So he's starting off the game, and he's taking down an unconventional path, is what I'm going to say, which leads him to have a dark affinity, which is not popular. And he starts off with infamy instead of like fame, or like a positive standing with like the NPCs around him. He then goes through a series of difficult quests that are not normal for someone his level, and until he kind of solidifies what he wants to do. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to ruin the story. This was really I went into this not knowing anything, and I love that about this game. Everything surprised about this book. Everything surprised me, and I want that same thing for you. I will say, just because I thought it was extremely cool, that the power he ends up choosing is necromancy, which is again very very cool. And Jason, little by little, starts becoming the first. I don't want to say villain, but he's definitely not a hero. So, and he does some very villainous stuff for questionable reasons. There's a lot of gray area in this book, and I like reading gray area stuff. Right? It's not just black and white. It's not there's just this is good and this is bad. It's why is this good and why is this bad? And I think if you kind of like those moral questions, you're gonna really really jive with this book. Um, I don't know many people on BookTube that have read this, or certainly not the big booktubers out there. But I'm gonna start recommending it to everyone because man, this was a really fun read. I started the book literally yesterday, and it's 525 pages, and it's 4 p.m. now. I read the entire book. I already finished it. I loved, absolutely loved the ending. The ending is kind of unexpected, um, and if you read into the book, like if you pay attention to the details, you can kind of see some of the things that are going to happen, and you can kind of make your guess, make a hypothesis on what's going on. But at the same time, man, um, this was just really fun. Let me break it down. Let me go. I do this in my Goodreads all the time, and I'll break it down by like character development. So Jason goes through an amazing character development here. He starts off as this scared, angry, upset kid, and he by the end of the book is emotionally in a much better place than he's at. This book deals a lot with bullying. Bullying. If you are sensitive to bullying and things like that, and you've experienced this in your life, I'm sorry. It's a horrible thing. I don't condone bullying of any sort, and this you can see that in this character. So if you are sensitive to these kind of things, and just take it with a word of warning. But this guy deals with it in an ideal manner, and he really is the light at the end of the tunnel, for people that I think have gone through this. Anyway, so character development, his is great. Another um, thing I want to point, the side characters in this game. I keep saying game because he's playing a game. In this book, are amazing. I love Jerry. Jerry is a very high leveled NPC who is sarcastic. He reminds me of Murderbot, but in a thief and more sarcastic manner. Murderbot from Sarah Wells of Murderbot Diaries. Anyway, um, except this guy is much more charismatic, and he you're gonna laugh with him. You really are gonna laugh with him. Um, I think Onyx is a very cool animal companion to have. He's this black cat, and you see him in the cover of the first book, which I'm eagerly waiting for Amazon to deliver. Um, he is he's a very judgmental cat, and you see how Jason interacts with him. It's funny. It's funny. Anyway, um, that's it for character development. The world building. I thought the world building was great. There's literally terraforming events that happen in this book. Um, so if you're into those kind of things, I definitely encourage that. What else? My enjoyment was like a 35 out of 5. Like I really enjoyed this. I feel like this is exactly what I needed to get me back on track with reading, and I can't wait to read the next book in this series. I'm gonna be releasing soon a tier list of my favorite progression fantasies, and that's gonna be a tough one because it's my favorite genre, I guess, subgenre of fantasy, or trope, I guess, whatever you however you want to label that. And yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys know. Next up, I'm gonna hopefully read Kraken Rider Z. Is that what it's called? Kraken Rider Z, Kraken Slayer Z. You guys will find out soon enough. Which is another progression fantasy. And man, I love progression fantasies. I can't wait. I eventually, so my reading plan is start Kraken Rider Z today. Hopefully, I don't read on Saturdays, so hopefully get it done sometime early next week. And I have to go back to the Wandering Inn some point in February. It's been like 3 months since I've read a Wandering Inn book. I just feel like I'm getting so close to the end that I don't want to keep. I don't want to keep reading. I want more to come out so then I can keep binging it. But yes, I will let you guys know. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to comment, like. If you guys subscribe to the channel, that really helps us out a lot with views. So I encourage you guys to do that. Not many of you guys are subscribed. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care.